Family Credit Management is a non-profit credit counseling agency. We specialize in helping people take control of their debt.
People call in every day. By the end of the call, they're feeling better. They know there's some hope out there.
For over a decade, Family Credit Management has helped tens of thousands of Americans deal with the burden of debt.
If you're struggling with debt, the most important thing is to take control of it. Now's the time.
Good evening and welcome. My name is Letitia Griffin and I am a certified credit counselor with Family Credit Management Services. And we are back for another season to discuss all types of money problems that you may be having, any issues, any concerns, any types of questions that you have. Feel free to go ahead and give us a call. Over the next 30 minutes or so, we'll be discussing any topics that you may have. Now, you can call in right now at 312-738-1060, the number that you see on the screen, or you can contact a certified credit counselor at Family Credit. Let's say you don't want to go on the air, you don't want to ask your question, but we do know that you still need help. So you can contact a certified counselor at Family Credit simply by dialing 800-994-3328. Now, we've got counselors on standby waiting to talk to you and help you address your issues and concerns. One of the great tools that we offer, just so you know, we have an online chat feature which will allow you to chat instantly with a counselor. And that way, if you've got any questions at all, any problems, anything that you don't feel comfortable talking about over the air, you can talk to a certified counselor and get the help that you need. The one thing that I want to recommend is that you take advantage of that, because people are struggling today. So many people are struggling, trying to make ends meet, trying to make things better for themselves. And everyone needs help. So we just offer a resource for you, offer the advice that you need, and we can help you find help, whatever you're looking for, dealing with your finances and issues. So I do recommend that you call 800-994-3328 and ask any question that you aren't comfortable asking here or you don't even get time to ask. So let's get to today's topics. One of the important things that I see so much is that people are looking and concerned about their credit. And people are just really thinking about their credit, but they're thinking about easy fixes. Another topic that's affecting us today, that people are looking for those easy fixes in the wrong place. Now, that's a huge concern that I have. Now, what I want you to do is just think about those things that are important to you when you're thinking about your finances. Are you struggling to pay bills? Are you struggling to hold it together? Are you looking for resources or help? And a lot of times we look outwards for help when there really isn't a lot, unless we actually put in the work needed to accomplish our goals. So that's where we want to start, just talking about your overall financial health and well-being. Now, when you think about your finances, a lot of times it can be quite depressing, because a lot of times we don't know what's going to happen or what will come next. We face so many different obstacles in our life that a lot of times you don't even think about that. And we get off track and we stop budgeting, we stop looking at our finances, and we just live paycheck to paycheck, trying to make it day to day. But right now it's time out for all of that, and we need to get ourselves back on track. And one of the ways that we can do that is just by taking an overall holistic approach and looking at your total financial picture, not just focusing on your credit report, not just budgeting, but everything together. You want to look at your credit report. You want to think about your budget. You also want to look at savings and investing. And another thing, possible insurance. What type of safety nets do you have? These are some things that we fail to we don't even think about. Now, a good reason that we want to look at our finances. Honestly, the key to all of our finances is our goals. And what is it that we have in mind to do? Are we looking at just paying off our debt, getting rid of the collection agencies, increasing our scores? Maybe you're even thinking about home ownership. So If you've got any questions about that, feel free to give us a call at the number you see on the screen and just go ahead and ask that, 312-738-1060, or you can contact a certified credit counselor ready to take your call at 800-994-3328. So lately I've been dealing with a lot of consumers who just really are looking to get a home. They want home ownership. Now, it's always been said that owning a home is the American dream. And honestly, it's the greatest asset that you can have. That's one asset that no matter what you do in life, if you own property, then it helps. Your net worth increases because you've got this asset right there. But in order to do that, you've got to prove yourself worthy, and you have to go through the application process. Now, the first thing you need to do is look at your credit report, because your mortgage lenders, any mortgage lender, the one thing that they are going to do no matter what is pull your credit report. A lot of people think, well, I don't know where to start. My credit's horrible. I've never looked at it. I don't want to look at it. I owe everybody, and this is the worst thing ever. I've got judgments, I've got repos, I've got bankruptcies. It really does not matter when you're looking at it holistically and you know that this is your goal. Now, keep in mind, when you look at your credit report, there's 3 different credit bureaus. You've got your TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. All of those bureaus change as our life changes. Yes, it's got information on there from a long time ago, and a lot of times it stores information for up to 10 years. That part is true, but will it stop you from owning a home? Not really. Not if you take the right steps, and you can do that starting today. Now, when you think about your credit report stays with you for years, but your credit score only looks at the last 2 years worth of history. So we're thinking just 2 years. So if you start today, 6 months from now, you'll be better than you are today. And a year from now, you'll be so much better. You'll probably be on the road to owning a home, and the process will be easier. What you need to do is go ahead, look at that credit report. Take a look at your TransUnion report first. Now, I only recommend TransUnion because it's most used here in the Midwest. A lot of places that pull your report, that's where they're going first. Then I want you to look at your Experian credit report. And you can take those 2, write down everything that is in them, and compare and contrast and see if there are some things that are there that shouldn't be. Some things should be double. You should see them on both reports. Then there's some things that you're only going to see once. A lot of people wonder, why is that? Why do we have 3 different credit bureaus with all different information? Well, that's a really good question. And the answer to that question is that for each creditor to belong to the credit bureaus, they have to pay a fee. And not all creditors are able to pay that fee in order to belong to the credit bureaus. So that's why not all creditors report to the same credit bureau. That's why you've got some that will report to Equifax, some reporting to TransUnion, some reporting to all 3. So you do want to go through and make a list of everything that you see there. Then I want you to pay attention to the dates that those things were entered onto your report. Usually with the bureaus that you get from TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, that are the ones that you pull on your own, they will detail and give you a date that each item is expected to fall off of your credit report. And that is one of the tools that you can use for success in trying to achieve your goal. Now, just by knowing that something is scheduled to fall off of your credit report and when it is scheduled to be removed from it, that helps you better plan. So now you know which accounts you need to tackle first. I always recommend that you tackle the most recent ones first. Now, I'll give you an example of that. Let's say you've got a medical bill reporting on your credit report, and it's from 3 years ago. Then you got another medical bill that's still showing on your credit report from 5 years ago. The one that you should actually look at handling first is the one from 3 years ago, because that's most recent. It's affecting your score more than the one from 5 years ago. So when you think about it, that's the one that you want to tackle. Now, when you're looking at different collections and medical bills and negative information, you want to look at not only the amount of debt that you have, but also how much can you really afford to put towards this debt. Now, next week, our show is really going to go in depth to budgeting, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end. But you always want to keep in mind, you don't want to make unrealistic goals. And that's one thing that we do as a society. We make unrealistic goals thinking that it'll help us achieve our goals, and we set ourselves up for failure. So I want you to make a conscious decision, conscious effort today to stop doing that. Look at your budget realistically and see how much can you afford to actually put towards your past debt. Now, if all you can afford is $20, that's a great start. I don't want you to do more than that, because I want you to be able to achieve your goal in a way that works for you. So I can't tell you to put $100 towards collections and you know that that's not the amount that you're going to have. So let's start with this little $20, and we're going to look at the bills that are most recent and apply that there. We're going to see how long it's going to take us to pay that off. Once we're paying our regular bills, if there's ever anything extra, we can put towards that. And that's going to help you get those collection agencies, those past due bills, everything paid off so that your score looks better. Now you might say, well, it's just $20. How is that helping? But think about it. If you've got a collection agency reporting on your credit bureau report, and they are reporting $300 this month, you put $20 down, next month they're going to report $280. And each month it's going to be less and less. Now, that collection agency is still going to be there, but it looks better every single month. And it's actually improving your score slowly over time. And you're building that payment history with the agency. And what's going to happen is once that account is paid off, they'll mark it as paid in full. Now, sometimes if you are clever, then you can go in and you can suggest that a collection agency will go ahead and remove that from your credit bureau report. Now, a lot of times they'll ask you to do a few things. They may even ask you to put a lump sum payment down, but the key is you want to get that removed. It looks like we have our first caller.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. I have a question. I had some past debt, and it went through collection agency, and I have put aside some money for savings to pay that past debt off.
Okay.
The thing is, I think I'm in a stronger position to negotiate that past debt to get my credit score up. What is your thoughts on that?
You raised some really good concerns that a lot of people aren't sure how to go about doing that too. Now, it depends on actually what collection issues you're dealing with and how much money you're talking about putting down. Whenever you negotiate with the collection agency, I always recommend never tell them that you really have that money, because then they'll be expecting you to pay it in full. They'll be trying to get more money out of you. You can contact them and you can ask them, hey, how about I was looking at my credit report, I saw this debt, and I was wondering, is there a way for you to remove this from my credit report if I pay something on it or if I pay it off? And then you can ask them, will you accept less than the full balance from it? You've got the right, as a consumer, you can say how much you want to actually start with, and it's up to them to accept it or not. So let's say you've got a debt for $1,000 and you want to pay that off. You can ask them to accept $200, $300, and see where it leads. Now, if you can't do it, then, or if you want to hold off and see if you can get something better, you can do that as well, but never tell them you have the money for sure. One of the things that I do recommend is just stating that maybe say you may be able to come across the money, or you may have a relative that's giving you the money. Don't tell them that you actually have it though, because you don't want them to have access to your bank account or to start harassing you.
Well, yeah, that's correct. I just wanted to know, will I be in a good position just for negotiational purposes?
Okay. And that's something that we can actually help you with. If you want to contact a certified counselor at Family Credit, or even if you want to contact me directly, we can walk you through that process. And the number is 800-994-3328. So we've got some great information on actually negotiating those collection offers for you too. So that's something that we kind of work hand in hand with you on.
Okay, I thank you for that.
So it looks like our caller brought up some really great points, and looks like, do we have another caller? Okay. Hi, welcome to the show.
Yes, and good afternoon to you, Letitia. This is Steve. I'm glad to see you back. You have helped many people out. But I
Thank you,
got a quick
Steve.
question, and it's a shame. People should have been calling all day since you've been on there, because we know people are in debt and they need help. But the question that I want to ask is, it's kind of simple though. I get plenty of cards. It get to a point sometimes you don't even want junk mail, but I accept it all. But I had cards. Cards come through the mail all the time,
Right.
and you just tear them up. But I had one card that came in, and it was already approved, and I just, how you call to activate it. I was just thinking, someone would have got that and activated it, they could have messed me up. So the thing what I was about to ask you, besides calling an attorney general, how can you get these companies to stop sending you these credit cards? And it's been to a point I even call and tell them and ask them, please don't send me no more cards. So what can we do as a consumer to get these companies to quit sending credit cards to us? And Letitia, it's very good to see you back again. You always been a wonderful person to help people and also me out. So again, let me get off the phone. Thanks for taking the call, and so I can hear your response. And you have a great day, babe.
You too, Steve. Thanks for calling. Now, those solicitations are everywhere. And right now, the banks are really, really starting to lend. So you've got them trying to send out offers to everyone. But not only that, you've got subprime lenders or lenders that aren't even as, they may have like a B rating or lower, that are trying to offer those cars to everyone. And so what they're doing is they really are pushing them to everyone that may have had credit problems, people with perfect credit, people with no credit. And what they will do is they'll send you those cards in the mail, and they'll tell you that you may have a $500 or $300 credit limit, and all you have to do is accept the offer. They give you the card. They may even say that they will charge you a monthly fee plus an annual fee. And by the time, let's say you've got this $500 limit, by the time you actually activate the card, you've only got like $300 on it because they've charged you so much in fees already and you have not even used it. Another thing that you need to watch out for is on those cards is that they start at an incredibly high interest rate. I've seen some cards that start at 26.99% interest. Now that's ridiculous. Now, if you are one of those consumers and you want to protect yourself against these solicitations, against these offers, you do need to go to the National Opt-out Database and do that. Now, I don't have the number with me right now, but you can contact a counselor at Family Credit or look on our website at familycredit.org or contact a counselor at 800-994-3328, and you can get that information. One resource that I do want to recommend though is privacyrights.org. Now, Privacy Rights is a great resource. And what they have there, you can actually find information on stopping the solicitations, on stopping the credit card offers, but they also have the national opt-out for telemarketers. They have it for mail solicitation, and you can find all the information that you need in order to protect yourself against those cards coming in the mail, against the ruthless harassing phone calls, against all types of telemarketers. So if you go to privacyrights.org, that's a great resource for you to find the information. And now, while we were talking about those cards, I do want to touch bases a little bit just on those cards that are out there that everyone is trying to get if you don't have a bank account. Now, I do recommend you have a bank account. Banks are out there for a reason, and I recommend that everyone get a bank account as soon as you are able. There's some banks that offer high school accounts. There's some that offer college accounts, but you do need to find a bank and figure out which one works for you. These are cards that you see now with the net spend or the different types of American Express cards that you see, and they want you to put money on them. You need to watch out for those. The one reason why I want to tell you to watch out for those is because they cost more in the long run than what you're trying to save. Now, I had a client that said that they just needed the card to pay their monthly bills. You can do that on your own. You can do that through a bank, and there are other resources out there available that may allow you to do that as well. I know years ago everyone used to run to the currency exchange and get a money order or have them send out a cashier's check with the currency exchange, and those even cost money. If you want to avoid that, I recommend you go to a reputable bank and just get a regular bank account and see what's available. Now, if you are one of those consumers that have had problems, you've had bad experiences with banks, you have had issues opening up an account, keep in mind there's a bureau out there for your checking account just like there is for your credit. So you can get that from Check Systems, and you can get your Check Systems report and see what's on it. A lot of banks offer second chance accounts, and that is something else that you may want to look into instead of trying to get some of these prepaid debit cards, because the prepaid debit cards, they really are more trouble than they're worth. You've got a lot that come with high fees, and then you have a lot that actually come with there's a card out there that charges you even to call customer service. Now, how crazy is that? You put your money on this card thinking that it will be safe, and they charge you to take your own money. I know you don't really agree with that, and that's just losing money that you could be spending on something else. Think about it. If you spend maybe like $50 to $100, even if that's annual, that's $100 that you don't have to spend on you, all because you put it on this card, which you didn't really need in the first place. So I do recommend that you look at a bank. And remember, we were talking about home ownership? That is the second key to getting a home. You need a bank account. When you think about home ownership, they are going to ask you for at least your last 6 months worth of bank statements. And you need to be able to show that that information is positive. You don't want to have any NSF fees, any overdrafts. They really do look at this. And if you want to qualify for a home, you need to learn how to get that bank account and keep it in check. We've got some really great tools available at Family Credit that can help you with that. We've got Personal Finance Made Easy, which is a great tool that will give you more information about banking. You can contact a counselor and request they send that out to you for free at 800-994-3328. And we've got also a very extensive budgeting guide called My Spending Plan. Also, 100 Small Ways to Save Big. These are all tools and guides that you can use to protect your overall financial health and get your goals in line. You want to make sure that you're taking a holistic approach to your finances. Don't just think because you're not making it right now. That doesn't mean that you're trapped. It means you have to work harder to get yourself out of that trap in that situation. And you can do it. I believe you can. And we've got counselors available that can help you with that too. So don't be frustrated. Don't think that this is the end of the road. Because right now, if you start today trying to improve your finances, you'll be better off in a few weeks, in a few months than you are today. Now, if you mess up, don't think it's the end. Just get right back up and start over. Because remember, we're thinking about our credit report, we're thinking about the bank account, and those are two keys to home ownership. With the credit report, only looks at the last 24 months worth of history. That's only the last 2 years. So if you mess up now, all you got to do is correct it. And 2 years from now, you'll be able to achieve your goals. Honestly, you'll be able to achieve your goal a lot sooner than that. Now, what I want you to do is take everything that I've said here and apply it to your personal finances. I also want you to come back next week too. Now, next week we've got a great counselor. Laura Butler will be here. She is an expert on housing and credit. She's going to talk about just the 5 tops. Now, each week she'll have a different one. It could be 5 tops to finances, your 5 top to budgeting, 5 tops to success. Whatever keys there are out there, she's going to bring those out to you. So we will see you again next week, and I thank you for tuning in today. Thank you.